Hello everybody. Thank you for coming back to my channel. This is Debbie from the Inspiration Station, and today I have a layout share for you. I've been very busy taking some online classes with some of my favorite companies, and I've done a lot of layouts over the last few months, so I'm going to share those with you now. Before we get started though, I would like to ask you that if you enjoy this sort of content, if you would please press the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. So let's get started. This first page is using Vicki Boutin's Fernwood collection, which I've been holding on to for quite some time. I love the collection, I just never seem to find the right photos to go with it. It is a little bit darker than some of her other lines in terms of the tones, and I find it to be a little more masculine, which is perfect for some of my photos of my guys. This page is actually photos from 2007, so it's going back a little ways, but I really enjoyed cutting out all the hexagons from the paper. I did some splattering. I think there's some cat hair on there because, you know, nothing in this house escapes the cat hair. I used some Pink Fresh Studio, some of their embellishments, and I really like the way that it came out. This next page is from a class that I did with Pink Fresh Studios. They had a spring event. I get confused with the names of the programs because I do Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine has Crop and Create that I participate in, and then Pink Fresh does, I think it's called Craft and Connect, or Connect and Craft maybe. I don't know, they're so similar that I have a hard time remembering the titles of them. But anyway, they're both fantastic programs, and I really enjoyed them. This was using the collection called Garden Blooms, I believe it's called, and we did, this is all washi tape using their die cut suite, and also their frames and chipboard elements. And I added some ink and some splattering, some gold splattering to this, just because I thought it needed it. And these are photos of me with my 3 grandsons. This one is one of my favorites. This was a class through SCT Magazine's Crop and Create with Victoria Calvin. And she did this great page using Doodlebug products. And it's so cute and so colorful that I found these photos shortly after I made the page. My son sent me these photos of my grandson at a birthday party, and I just thought they were perfect because he is, you know, my sunshine. He colors my world, so I thought those were perfect, and I really like how this page turned out. It's very different for me, but I do like it. This page here is one of my own designs, and so my grandson Anthony had his first year photo shoot, and the pictures came out sensational. I really loved them. And so I was able to pull up some of my older products. This is a crepe paper product from who knows when. This die is from Elizabeth Craft Designs. This came from an Echo Park collection, a fairly new baby collection. I honestly don't remember what it's called, but it was one of their newer ones. And this is probably my favorite in this bunch. This was using the Pink Fresh products that we got in our workshop, and I just kind of mixed a few using the paper from Garden Blooms. Is it Garden Blooms? Yes, I think it's Garden Blooms. And I don't remember where these embellishments came from. They were from another Pink Fresh line. But I love the soft colors along with the photos. And this is probably my favorite. And this one is my grandson, my oldest grandson, last summer at the beach. He is definitely a beach baby. And I use Pink Fresh products on this. It is their Sunshine. Gosh, I wish I could remember all these names. Well, I can't remember what it is. It's their new one, though. And this is a die that I cut out so it looks like the fishnet, and I added some splatters to this. This is one I based on a sketch from Allison Davis from Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. It was the sketch that they put in for their call for this fall's issue. And I used Vicki Boutin Where To Next, and you'll see that there's several pages in here using Where To Next. I absolutely love this collection, and I just find it to be so useful. I did add a few embellishments from In a Creative Bubble, and I think everything else on here is from Vicki Boutin. From the same trip to New York City, we went to a restaurant called Serendipity 3, and they are famous for their frozen hot chocolate. And you can see this is the original frozen hot chocolate. I had ordered a s'mores version, and just incredible. We really had a good time there. It was a very tiny place. Of course, everything in New York City, all of the restaurants and things are in very small spaces. And so it was a little tight and very noisy in there, but we really enjoyed the food and we had a good time. This is also Vicki Boutin's Where To Next. This one I combined Where To Next with a Simple Stories, I think it's called Hearth and Home. It was one of their fall lines from a couple of years ago. I thought it worked really well with these photos. This was another from our trip to New York City. We went to this great Italian restaurant that was on the corner of 8th Avenue and West 35th. Fantastic food. We had a really good time. This is using a paper from Pink Fresh. This was from their Simply the Best line. Uh-oh, I have something stuck there. Hold on. The paper is from Simply the Best. I made the title on my Cricut, and I really started getting into using these templates from Carrie Bradford Studios, the photo templates. I really like the way they laid things out, and they're called 5 by 10, 5-inch by 10-inch templates. I actually printed them on 8.5 by 11 photo paper and then cut them down so I could, print them at home. I print on my own printer here. This is another of the Carrie Bradford templates from the same collection. And these were, we took a boat tour around the island of Manhattan, which was fantastic. We had absolutely gorgeous weather. We saw lots of things. We had a fabulous tour guide. I got a little sunburned, but I did remember my sunscreen, but we were out on that water pretty much around noontime, and I did still get a little burned. But Vicki Boutin's Where To Next for a lot of these. This cut file here, it was like a circular sun. It is Paige Evans. So I just like the way that it looked peeking out, and I did double it up. I cut the circle in half, so it was just a half circle, and then layered it. This is the companion page to it. I'm not sure if I can get them both in the screen at the same time. Yeah, I guess I can. So this one, I didn't have any more of the Vicki Boutin solid paper, but I did find an American Crafts paper cardstock that matched pretty well. And then I just splattered them both with some Dina Wakley white acrylic spray. And so that kind of tied them together. This one is Simple Stories, one of their pre-made page kits. Or yeah, I guess it's a page kit. They do some pre-printed things on it, like this background. So it looks like it's layered, and it's not. It's just a printed one. And then I took 49 and Market, some of their pieces, and layered them up. So I added some foam tape and gave them some dimension, and I really like the way those two collections work together. This is my oldest grandson. This year he's selling his chicken eggs, so he's quite excited about that. And I thought this was really cute. I probably would not have used the pre-printed pages on their own. I actually got them as a gift at the Simple Stories retreat that I went to, and didn't think that I would end up using them, but by adding in the 49 and Market papers, or embellishments, I thought it came out really cute. This is a 2-page. If you notice, I don't do a lot of 2 pages. I prefer to do single page, but occasionally I have a lot of photos that need to go on to tell the story. And so this is one of them. This is a sketch from Allison Davis. I believe the collection is called Using 3x4 Photos and Journaling Cards, possibly. But it's all 3x4s. And my grandson, his first birthday was a golf theme, so it was a party. And the pictures were just so bright and colorful, and the color scheme was this blue and green, and it turns out that Photoplay came out with a golf line this year that was the same color palette, and that's where these papers came from. And then the embellishments that I use, those are Simple Stories, some of their page pieces. And this little title here is actually from close to my heart. It was a leftover piece from a project that I did, I think it was with SCT, with their Crop and Create. This one is my great niece. This was her first dance recital, and she is just adorable. And I had this paper. I can't even tell you where this paper came from. It's a single-sided. I think it came from a paper pad, maybe one of those Michaels pads. But the colors worked really well with this new Pink Fresh line. These are the washi tape suite that you cut with the dies. And this was some of the embellishments. This is the alphabet that we got in the Pink Fresh workshop that I layered up with some gold foil. I'm not sure if the camera picks up that that's foil or not, but I matted the photos and the letter with the gold foil. And I think this came out really cute. I don't use purple very often, so this was a great opportunity to be able to use that and do a girl page. I don't know if I've said this before, but I have 3 grandsons and no granddaughters. So being able to do girly pages, I really get excited. This one is an ancient paper. It's so thin, it's like copy paper. It's from Karen Foster Designs. And I used just some papers from my stash. I know this is from Elle Studio. These little balls or beach balls that I put on here were from Simple Stories, a really old beach line that they had. I cut the title on the Cricut. I believe this was a sketch. This is an Allison Davis sketch that I used, I believe. Yes, I think so. And then I put these little dewdrops on. I don't know if anybody remembers dewdrops, but they were really popular many years ago. So I really dug into my stash for this, but I love the way the page came out. This one is from the SCT Crop and Create event. This was a class done with Becky Adams using Maggie Holmes papers. And I cut the title on my Cricut. I'm trying to think if I added anything different than she did. I guess, well, yes, I added the gold foil strip there and a couple of more embellishments on here. But other than that, it's pretty much strictly the way Becky had designed it. This is another of my favorites. This was a scrap lift of Simple Stories design team member, and I don't have the name. I don't believe. Sometimes I write it on the back. Nope, not on this one. It was one of their design team members anyway, made this page, and I copied it. It's a scrap lift. It's probably very close to what she did. I think she may have had only a single photo, but this was coming back from my nephew's wedding in Florida, and I had my grandson on my lap, and he was so good all the way. Really amazing. Traveling with a 1-year-old, you never know what you're going to get, but he was really good, so I did enjoy that. This one was fun. I had a page published in Scrapbook and Cards Today in their summer edition this year, and it's the first time I've ever been published in a magazine, so I was excited, and of course I had to document it. So I just took a photo of the magazine and the card that came from them, and a copy of the page that my page was on. This is my layout here, the family one, and put that together with some Echo Park papers. So that was exciting. This one came out better than I was really expecting it to. Again, I'm using the Carrie Bradford 5x10 templates, photo templates, and I printed this so it's half. This is the 5x10, and I just printed it twice. So I just layered them together, put them together, and it made a very quick and easy page. The background that I matted it on is Vicki Boutin's Where To Next. And I just thought this selfie, you know how when you take a selfie, a lot of times you end up with it crooked depending on how it's being held. And so I decided I was going to put us going horizontally and let the photo be crooked. And I just thought it was a little more interesting that way. This is an Allison Davis project that she published on her blog, and it's pretty much exact what she did. I don't think she had stitching around the heart. She may have had stitching on the stars, but I ended up putting this because I realized after I did it that she cut out her heart out of the striped paper and put it on top of the white. And what I did was I cut the heart out of the white and then put the papers behind it. And it didn't pop. It didn't have any kind of definition here. So I ended up getting some embroidery floss and stitching around it to give it some definition. And I did the title on my Cricut. This is my youngest grandson. He's new to the family, so this was his first 4th of July. This is a page that I did, oh, I think we're down to our last one. This is the page that I did for Scrapping Cards Today, their spring event. Virginia Nebel designed this page, and the paper is from LDRS, and I really wasn't sure how I was going to use this page at all. It's much more colorful than I would usually do, more patterns than I would do, and it was a lot of pink. And as I said, I don't have Girls to Scrapbook, so I wasn't sure I was going to get to use it, but my grandson stayed overnight one night, and I took a bunch of photos. I kept sending his mother photos throughout the morning because she was checking on him, how he was doing. And so as I was taking pictures of him eating breakfast and running around playing, I had all these little ones. You know, they're not the type of picture I would blow up and make huge copies of, but as small prints, they came out really cute. And so I put them on this page, and I ended up liking the page. Wasn't sure that I would, but I did. So that is my collection of pages for right now. These are my layouts. I have a few more that I'm working on. I've got some plans to do a lot more stitching. I ended up somehow getting the stitching bug, which I kept telling myself I wasn't going to do, but Paige Evans and Allison Davis both do a lot of stitching, and so I got a little crazy. This was something Paige Evans did in one of the events. I think it was the Pink Fresh one. Oh, I have to glue some of my ends on, but she took this color blocked paper and she matched the embroidery floss, and she gave us a list of the colors to use. And so I stitched it, and I don't know how I'm going to use this page yet, but I ended up doing the whole thing. It took me longer than it probably should have, but I learned a lot from doing it. And so the next one that I did was another Pink Fresh paper, and I just did the tops of each of these lines. And I have some ideas on this. I think it's going to end up going this way with my photos over here. But yeah, so those are the stitching projects that I've started. And I think that is it for the moment. If you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. And again, if you could press that like button, it would really be helpful. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I love to see my numbers go up and see new subscribers. I do get notices every time somebody subscribes, and it makes me happy. So thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you will join me again for the next share, which will probably be a few weeks before I get around to it. But I hope you come back and join me then. Thank you for now.